I gotta put the game on. Let's see. What's up, Rockets fans? What's up, man? How you doing? How you doing? Great to have you in, brother. Can't wait for this game. Got to get that game 6 in a row, man. You know, Thunder, not a great team, but, you know, they can put it on. What's up, man? Let's go, man. Almost 150 subscribers. Remember, shoe giveaway, man. This is a good day. How are y'all doing today? How was your day? Let me know what y'all think about the game, and let me know what y'all think about Dort. Is he really, you know, carried from the bubble to the regular season? Because I've been watching a few of his games, and he looks like he's going to be a solid player long term. Dort is a pretty legit player. Now, is he going to be a part of their franchise long term? I doubt that. So I'm just trying to get the game. I know it hasn't started yet. And thanks for the thumbnail, man. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, I like Dort. He's good. He's a good player, man. It's hard to find really good defensive players this year, like, you know, throughout, who are definitely undrafted as well. So the Rockets picked up a lot of great defensive players. So, you know, I don't know what happened with, you know, why Morey couldn't find any, you know, defensive players. Well, we needed them. What's up, man? JT, what's up, boy? Yeah, man. Glad you're having a great day, bro, for real. I worked today, so got a little bit of rest right when I got home. Let's try to put on the game real fast. Get this game 6. So just going to watch the highlights from the last game till the game turns on from New Orleans the other night. You know, Christian Wood had 27 points. You know, Zion Williams, you know, he's not an easy matchup. I mean, for anybody, 300 pounds. I mean, come on, man. That's amazing. That I think he's 300 pounds. He's listed at 280 something, but hell nah, I know he's like 3 something. I think, you know, they just try to keep that guideline, you know, they have a limit. Hey, we can't have him 300 pounds, you know. Rockets about to take that dub. Man, I hope 6 games it'll be in a row. Ready for the dub? Yeah, for real. Yeah, 284. They listed him at 284, but I don't think so. I think he's 300 pounds. But that's just my honest opinion. From my eye test, I feel like he's like 300 pounds. I promise you. From my eye test. Now, Dort out there, he's probably their best player besides Alexander. We saw his cousin last night for the other night against New Orleans. He's not as great as a player, but, you know, they're both talented as well. Yeah, for sure. He looks at least, when he blew up his goddamn shoe, he had to be like, right then and there, he looked like he was 284, I promise you. And that was college. So I'm watching their warm-ups. You know, the Thunder, like I said, they're going to play hard. They're going to play defense. You know, they're going to try to knock down their open shots. And, you know, the Rockets just have to stay disciplined and, you know, stick to what they've been doing, the recipe for their last, you know, 5 games, what they've been doing. And David Nwaba will be out this game. That's going to be a hard one to see. But, you know, you got a lot of guys who can bring a lot of energy. But David Nwaba brings, like, that tenacity, like that nonstop motor, who's going to get some offensive rebounds, who's going to get some steals. He's averaging about 2 steals a game. So that's something you're going to miss. But hopefully you can replace that. So maybe Ben McLemore gets some time. I'm not too sure. You know, Daniel House will probably get more playing time. And for sure, you got guys that you could go to, though. Let's see who else you got. You got, you know, of course, Jashawn Tatum probably even starting. I don't see. I don't know. I guess Ben McLemore will be the next guy up. Yeah, hopefully Jones gets some minutes. Yeah, I was thinking Mason Jones, but they didn't send him down to the G League, which I was kind of shocked that they didn't send him down to the G League. But you got Kevin Porter Jr. is going to be balling out in Orlando for a little bit, and I see him back with the team. By the trade deadline, maybe a little after. But I know he'll be with his team before the playoffs for sure. He's going to be crucial. Yeah, that was interesting. Yeah, that was interesting because he has some things to work on, but overall, he brings one thing he brings to the table. That's what is what he could bring is 3-point shooting, and he could create his own shot. He could penetrate, pull up on the jumper, and that's something that some of these players that don't have for the Rockets. Not all of them are great shooters, but they all can put the ball on the floor. Do I think James Harden's a great player? Yeah, I think James Harden's a great player. I mean, look, he's not known for his defense, but he does play the lane. So, that's why he did average 2 assists with the Rockets, 2 steals, with the Rockets. But he leads the league in assists, and I know he's going to take a L in the points. I mean, he's still getting his, but you got three-headed monster there. So one of them has to take a backseat, or maybe 2 guys take a backseat. I mean, Kevin Durant is obviously the number one option, but James Harden is a great player. I mean, maybe the Rockets invested too much, into him, and the fact that, I think they put too much on his table. I thought he was always a number 2. When Dwight Howard came, I thought Dwight Howard was the best player for the Rockets. At that time, when we got him, I was like, oh, Dwight Howard's going to be the best player for the Rockets. But it turned out to be James Harden. So no knock on James Harden. I just always felt like if you wanted to bring a championship, you're going to have to bring in a solid number 1. Like, I don't know, maybe I always felt like Kevin Durant was going to come with the Rockets just because, him and James Harden were friends. But I felt like, if we would have got Kevin Durant, it would have been clear that the Rockets would have won a championship. And it would have been clear as well, like Kevin Durant would have been the number 1 option on this team too. So, James Harden's a wonderful player, but, he doesn't have that. And I'm no knocking at James Harden. I'm not going to say he doesn't have that championship pedigree because that's not fair for me to say. But I just think, sometimes you got to play defense. Sometimes you have to have that Mamba mentality. You're going to have to, get on the floor. You're going to have to do a lot of things that other guys don't want to do. And, that's why they always try to build the team around James Harden. Sometimes you just got to build a great team overall, like the Golden State Warriors. I mean, I don't think they really built around Curry. I think they built around, 3 guys, and then boom, they went from there. Can't wait for KPJ. Yeah, me too. I can't wait for KPJ. This game, I'm gonna watch the G League. I really don't invest in the G League, but I am gonna keep an eye on the G League. February 10th. Okay, let me know, man. I'll try to broadcast that as well. Why didn't KD just come to H-Town instead of Brooklyn? I don't know, man. I really don't know. That was one thing I thought. I promise. I felt like KD was going to come to Houston, but the year that he was a free agent, I think the Rockets were having a lot of issues with him and James Harden and Chris Paul. So I think that really made KD's decision easier to go to Brooklyn. Just imagine if we had KD, that would be crazy. Nah, that would be crazy. Yeah, I know that would be fire. Yeah, I'm sure I'm watching. Yeah, I'm watching that. I want to see what, Kevin Porter Jr. does and if he's going to have a big game, because he doesn't necessarily need to go to the G League and have a big game. He just needs to work on his fundamentals and especially his mind. That's one thing they got to work on. See if he's clear-headed. That's the issues what got him in trouble. Throwing food at somebody. I work in the restaurant. I didn't see people throw food at each other. Like, it ain't no big deal to me. I would have been laughing. I threw a crab cake because somebody didn't know how to make it right. I threw it against the wall. I was so mad that day. Man, I had to be like 21. I was like so mad. But I was like the guy in the kitchen, so like the lead guy, and they're yelling at me. So I was like, you have to like form it like a burger. And when it came out the fryer, it was all like torn apart. And I grabbed it and I said, threw it against the wall. I apologize to the guy, but sometimes, people throw food. It's a way to express yourself. Let me know your thoughts on the game. Let me know, the margin. We might have another giveaway, but if y'all want to guess the margin, I guess, again, that was kind of fun. I know JT almost had that. And the Sambuca crew won that. What up, bro? How you doing, Felipe? Felipe was one of the guys that won a prize. Yeah. Like I said, there's nobody that intrigues me besides Dort, but I just want to see if that momentum carried, from the bubble to, the regular season. And I know that he has had some big games this season. So, I mean, it already has. See a lot of guys from the bubble who, thrived in the bubble for some reason. I don't necessarily know why, but, Tyler Hero, Warren went down, so you don't really know what Warren's going to bring when he comes back. And Dort was one of the guys as well. So you have a lot of guys that were shining in the bubble. You know who Nawaba reminds me of? He kind of reminds me of, y'all remember Corey Brewer? His motor was always going. He was nonstop, running, court end to end, nonstop motor. And that kind of reminds me of Nawaba. I just feel like Nawaba is more aware that he's not a good 3-point shooter and he's not going to shoot a bunch of shots. He would take them like if he's wide open, he's more than capable, of course. But I think Nawaba knows that he's not a good 3-point shooter, and he's going to try to stick to his game. He's not going to try to, take over the game just because he's open. That's just he's very fundamental, and that's really hard to find in a great role player. Nawaba, Jashawn Tate, the list goes on. Sterling Brown. Sterling Brown is a great shooter. Yeah, bro, almost had it. Yeah, Corey Brewer. I like Corey Brewer. I think he just, man, I think he just went downhill real fast. I don't really know why. I think his 3-point shot just went away. He kept forcing things, and, that was the recipe. Pretty much he carried on throughout his career, playing solid defense. And that's what Nawaba does. He sticks to his game. He doesn't try to, overdo things. I hope Rockets can win both times we play the Thunder. I'm going to try to keep this win streak alive. Yeah, I hope we beat the Thunder twice because I'm telling you, the Thunder are more than capable of taking one of these games. That's just, who they are. Don't look past them because a lot of teams have, like I said, they beat Brooklyn, they beat the Suns, they beat a lot of teams. I even think they beat the Lakers at one time. I could be wrong though, but they might have beat Denver. So they're more than capable of beating a playoff team. I'm talking into the mic and I don't even have it connected. I have it connected to my other computer. I'm sorry. But let me know your thoughts. We'll do a giveaway. And we'll see the margin again, what the magnitude of the margin is, and then we'll go from there. So y'all go ahead and put your guesses in, and we'll have a little giveaway. So the game is about to start. I think Thunder fans hate the Rockets more than any team in the league, for real. Just because of the history between the two teams. And, we met them in the playoffs twice, and Rockets by 12. I got you, man. Rockets by 12. Now, this is if they do win. So just letting you know. And Al Horford, he's having a good year. Jace Alexander. And then we saw his cousin last night, like I said, who had not not really a good game. I mean, he wasn't bad, but he wasn't great. I mean, he was just there. Their head coach, Mark, never heard of him. Sorry. I know their coach from last season went to go coach the Bulls. If y'all know his name, let me know. Throw a name drop. But I mean, he obviously hasn't turned around the Bulls that much. I mean, the Bulls have a lot of talent. I promise you, the Bulls have a lot of talent. You know, Kobe White, Levine, Lauren, Carter. They got a lot of talent. I mean, they just need better coaching. I think the Rockets are going to get into the playoffs. I think for some reason, I think they're going to get the 6th seed. I've been watching basketball all my life, so I think they're more than capable of getting the 6th seed. This is how I think it's going to play out. I think it's going to be Lakers. Now, they might get the 2nd seed just because they don't give a shit. I promise you. The Lakers just want to get into the playoffs. They're not scared of nobody. I promise you. They're not scared of nobody. So they can get past them. So maybe Clippers, Utah, the Lakers, home court doesn't matter anyway. Not in this time. Not in this time of day. 4th, I would go with. I still think the Warriors are a deadly team, so I'm gonna go with the Warriors at 4th. 5th, I mean, I got to go with the Mavericks. I think the Mavericks are going to make a big trade, maybe for Bradley Beal, but I don't know yet. I know they're going to make a big trade. I promise you that. 6th, I'm going to go with the Rockets. 7th, let me know your 7th and 8th. Memphis, I don't know, man. Portland, how can I forget Portland? Portland's having a lot of injury issues, so I could see them in that 7th spot. And then I think maybe Memphis might sneak in there. But yeah, I see the Rockets making the playoffs for sure. They're too deep. They have too much talent. Their coaching is too good not to make the playoffs. I mean, I don't think Memphis is better than the Rockets. I mean, Ja is great, but outside of Ja, they don't really have too much talent. They do have a lot of great players, but you know, they don't have, you know, for the fact that the Rockets just had a lot of injury players who've been injured in the past. I mean, that's the only real issue, to be honest. Their defense is great. Their players are unselfish. So Horford going right at Christian Wood really early. And that's pretty much every center. There are a lot of big centers that we played lately, but that's right out the gate. They're always trying to post up Christian Wood right away, try to establish themselves. But like I said, this is not Hakeem Olajuwon, so I don't give a shit. Give the ball to Horford. All he does is, you know, just stop momentum for the Thunder. Dort going to the rim, and he blew the layup. You got John Wall bringing up the ball. I like these jerseys. You know, I just don't like the blue jerseys. I promise you. I could withstand any jersey they wear, just the blue one. So the Thunder throw it out of bounds. And Dort looks good. He's already looking fast. He's looking like their best player so far, just right out the gate. Christian Wood attacking Horford up. Oh, man, he almost had it. He has such a great touch. Hey, thanks, bro. I appreciate it, for real. I know you always showing love. You have to go. All right, man. Take it easy, bro, for real. Thanks for stopping by. Alexander scores. So 3-4 already, and we only got one person that guessed. So 12 points is the margin. Victor Oladipo misses a jump shot from the free throw line. Thunder bringing up the ball, playing a little pick and roll down to Horford. Horford getting double teamed, passes back out. A missed 3-point opportunity for the Thunder. Rockets got the ball, and Rockets are bringing up the ball. Rockets 112, so you got them up by, okay, I got you, up by 3, okay. Remember, if you haven't added me on Snapchat yet, you know, if you win a prize, you just have to add me on Snapchat, and right away I'll send you your prize the next day. If not, the following day, and you should get it, you know, within the next few days, 4 days max. I mean, if you live in Houston, you get it like I said, the next 2 days. But if you live in another city, or another state. I really don't know how that's going to work, but I can still send it. So they have a jump ball and the Thunder win the ball. I really want to see what Cousins does in this game. Last game he wasn't too good. I expected him to have a little better game, but the fact that, Christian Wood, a 3 and a miss. So Christian Wood has missed his last two shots. The Thunder are a fast team. Offensive foul, charging, Rockets ball. So if y'all just jumping in, let me know what y'all think about the margin. How if the Rockets win, the margin that they win by, and you win a prize automatically. So Victor Oladipo bringing up the ball against Alexander, passes it to John Wall. John Wall 3, and he hits it. Man, John Wall is becoming a great 3-point shooter. I'm telling you. I mean, he has put a lot of practice and a lot of work in. He's such a different player. He had 2 years to work on his game. It's unfortunate the way he did, but he's gotten better. I think he's better than before he got injured. He just has to stay healthy. And the problem with the Thunder, they don't have a lot of 3-point shooting. I'm already seeing it. They're taking a lot of 3-point shots. John Wall up and in. Oh, my God, John Wall. If you're watching the game, John Wall just made a nasty move. He played 1-on-2. He went in the paint and he scored. He did a scoop shot and a layup. I see the Thunder they want to shoot threes, but I don't necessarily know why. It's just that's what the Rockets are giving them. Okay, John Wall forces a turnover on Alexander. Wood bringing it up. Ooh, Euro step. So Rockets are up 10-4. 10-4. So we got a lover here in the messages. He got Boogie with 9 points. Yeah, I mean, Boogie, he can knock down that 3-point shot. That's the one thing I like about Boogie. Both our centers, they could spread the floor. They can knock down some, 3-point shots. They could allow our point guards to penetrate. And both our point guards are penetrating point guards. You got Wall who penetrate and Victor Oladipo who's going to penetrate as well. So either one comes on the floor or comes off the floor. It's not a real big downfall. There's no real hiccups when they get off the floor. It's like which player is going to get hot, which center is going to get hot. I think the biggest thing for DeMarcus Cousins, he needs to figure out how he's going to adapt coming off the bench because he hasn't had a great game coming off the bench yet. And now we saw what he could do when he's a starter, and it's great, And one thing we haven't seen Christian Wood and Cousins on the floor at the same time, but it hasn't really been necessary. When we needed Cousins out there, we needed Christian Wood out the game because he was getting bullied. And, it has worked out for the Rockets so far. So I think that's something that the Rockets have in their bag right now. And, save it for the playoffs. Save it, when you really need it. There's no need to show all your cards right now. It's just too early. So the Rockets are still trying to figure out things. Like I said, they don't need to be showing all their cards right now. They just need to get into the playoffs and, utilize every player as possible. And I'm sure Silas will do that because he's such a great coach. I made my last video and I said I don't think John Wall's an all-star. But if he keeps knocking down the 3-point shot and he's not out almost every other game or whatever like that, he's not missing a lot of games, due to, minutes restriction, his minutes getting cut, I think he could be an all-star. It's a it's a possibility. And I do think he might win, comeback player of the year. He had 2 years off. So as of right now, he's my comeback player of the year. I mean, hands down. I mean, just him being back on the court and averaging what he's averaging, he's averaging like 14 points a game, like 6, 7 assists a game. So, and probably a few steals. So, I mean, and his leadership is unquestionable. Like, you can't question his leadership. It's there. He just got a rebound. Great rebounder too. So he's bringing up the ball. So Dort is guarding John Wall. So I didn't expect that. It's just probably because he's knocked down a few 3-point shots. Victor Oladipo a 3, and he got it, man. This team is deadly, man. I promise you. You got Vic, you got Wall, you got Christian Wood, and then you got guys coming off the bench. So you got Jae'Sean Tate out there right now. Alexander looking for Horford. And it looks like they're trying to go to Horford a lot, but, I mean, go ahead. Do what you got to do. And they missed the 3-point shot. I think it was a jump shot. It was a far jump shot. Christian Wood a 3, pump fake. Passes it back to John Wall. John Wall, pump fake 3. Christian Wood has the ball. He looks like he's going to take a jumper. He's on Horford. Horford, he's passed. Oh, my God. Christian Wood just dunked on Horford. I promise you, man. Oh, my God. Grown man move. Horford sucks. And there was Rockets fans that really wanted Al Horford. For real. They're idiots. He has a fat-ass contract, and he's not even that good. Victor Oladipo, another 3. So it's 18-4 right now. So Rockets are cooking right now. 18-4. Rockets are cooking. Score. Hey, hit a 3-point, and we got a way better. He is everything y'all need. Seawood can score, but Wall can score, pass, and play D. Yeah. Look, I think there's 2 all-stars on this. Christian Wood just hit a goddamn 3. So we're up 21-4. I gotta like squint sometimes when y'all write big sentences, like big long paragraphs. So Christian Wood just dunked on Al Horford. Like, man, he's unbelievable. I just made a video about him, and I know some of y'all seen it. He is unbelievable. Every game, I'm just like, man, how is he doing it? I mean, he's such a great player. And they said this was a weak free agency class. I mean, we got him for a bargain, man. There's a player that I don't specifically know his name for the Wizards, but all he does is shoot threes, and he got paid $80-something million for like 4 years. And we got Christian Wood 3 years, like $40-something million. And he does it all. He shoots threes, gets rebounds, gets blocks. I mean, God. You couldn't ask for a better player, I promise you. Look, I know James Harden left, and that's fine. I could live with that. But, I think he gave up on this team a little too early. We're the best, defensive team since he left. Oh, yeah, Davis Bertans. Yeah, my friend was really high on him. Anthony Sweet, he's a part of this channel. I know y'all haven't seen them in a while, and I know y'all haven't seen Liam. They're both busy with school. All I got to do is work. I done passed school already. So, they're very busy. But, they're still a part of this show, and I'm going to come out with custom-made jerseys. So for my crew, William Adams and Anthony Sweet, they're both going to get custom-made jerseys, for real. So it looks like the Rockets, can run away with this. I'm looking at the Thunder, and I'm just like, man, who's going to score for them? Really, I mean, who's going to score for them? And the Rockets' defense is, it's very aggressive. So nothing's going to come easy for the Thunder. I love beating the Thunder, I promise you. There's just some teams I love seeing the Rockets beat. The Thunder, the Lakers, the Spurs, the Mavericks. Not necessarily the Mavericks. Yeah, Alexandria. So the Rockets are, since trading James Harden, they've been 6-3, and their defense is first. Their rating, it was, 22nd in the lead. So I mean, look, that margin is so high. Of course. Shea is a beast. He might be an all-star. Nah, Shea is a beast. He's an all-star. He just needs the right players around him. Not every young player is, going to become an all-star right away. They just need better teammates, better coaching. Look at Deshaun Watson. He is going to win a Super Bowl one day. I mean, he just needs better teammates around him. So, I mean, something like that. Bradley Beal, great player, all-star. He has, on the championship team, he's still a number 2 guy. So, yeah, but Alexander is a great player. Shea Alexander. Christian Wood saves the tip-out pass. Victor Oladipo bringing up the ball. Victor Oladipo penetrating, passes to Eric Gordon. Eric Gordon, a 3, got it. Eric Gordon. They got all them draft picks, though. I know, for real. But, the Rockets are kind of like in the same position as the Thunder. I mean, the Thunder are in a better position with their draft picks, but the Rockets are still competitive. So as long as they stay competitive, you can have all the draft picks you want. I promise you. You just got to go in the draft and draft right. And I mean, what's the use if you're going to suck and you're going to draft wrong? I mean, you're just pretty much gambling. Another 3-pointer by Christian Wood, 27-8. Where does Deshaun going? I heard there wasn't going to trade him. I don't think they're going to trade him. There will be a lot of season ticket holders that will, give up their season tickets. And the Texans haven't, since the virus, they've been consistently selling out every game. So you see them trading Deshaun Watson, a team is going to have to give up 8 first-round draft picks. I mean, that could be the possibility of, realistically possible that, the Texans could be asking for 8 first-round draft picks, and that's unheard of. Victor Oladipo, a missed layup. He did a chair drop, and he missed it. Yeah, I like what they got out of Harden's trade. Yeah, me too. I mean, you got Kevin Porter, because this is how you got Kevin Porter. When the Rockets were trading, with Brooklyn, the Cavs have joined in, and the Rockets, were trading with the Cavs as well. They gave them Jared Allen. So the Rockets, opened up a relationship with the Cavs, and obviously they didn't have to trade Kevin Porter Jr. to the Rockets, but they did. So they could have just cut him, but definitely the Rockets, that's Rafael Stone is making friends across the league. So that's good. That's really good. Rafael Stone got Kevin Porter Jr. for nothing. Like I said, they could have cut him. But, like I said, the Rockets are already making relationships around the league, and that's good. Daryl Morey wasn't really well liked across the NBA. Not across the NBA. There were some teams, that didn't want to do business with him. Some players didn't want to sign here because the fact that, he was known for just trading guys away for, just to make the team better. Or, you see what he did with Carmelo Anthony, see what he did to Chris Paul. He already had a bad rap. So for me, in my opinion, I think it was time for him to go. And Rafael Stone, when you go to bat, you're going to strike out. But Rafael Stone, has not struck out yet. He has hit Deshaun Tate. He has hit, DeMarcus Cousins. He got him on a non-guaranteed contract. He got Victor Oladipo, Kevin Porter Jr., 8 first-round draft picks. He got a pick from Portland. He got a pick with the Wizards. Come on, he won the Wizards trade. I know Westbrook had a great game last night, but they're not going to make the playoffs. And if they do, they're going to get bounced out in the first round. Yeah, that defense, it's great, man. I can't believe he is in the G League. He was dropping like 10 in a game last year. I know I could see him averaging like 30 points in the G League. But like I said, that's not necessarily what he needs to work on. He needs to get his mind right. He needs, to build that camaraderie around those guys around the G League. He needs to just get his head clear, the G League. He just needs to, like I said, work on himself. That's all he needs to do. Westbrook trash. Yeah, I mean, you know what? Westbrook sometimes could get fooled on him. He gets fooled on himself. He does a lot of things to get out of his game, out of his rhythm. And John Wall's so, patient. He's going to do his thing. Just 2 different players. I think if Westbrook was with the Rockets and, all the drama was going on with Harden, I really don't think Westbrook and Harden are friends no more. I promise you, Harden didn't even play last night. I just don't think they're friends no more. I don't think, Westbrook really enjoyed playing with Harden and vice versa. I don't think they really enjoyed it. I feel like Harden was hiding from him last night. Harden doesn't miss games. Harden does not miss games. For him to miss a game last night, it was unbelievable. And Westbrook went at them. Westbrook had a big game. He has not had a big game all year. He has had some triple doubles, but it didn't necessarily lead to wins. So DeMarcus Cousins playing some post up. DeMarcus Cousins almost turned it over. He finds Sterling Brown, PJ Tucker in the corner with a three and got it. Oh my God. They're 34-18. I promise you, 34-18. They are cooking. PJ Tucker just got a steal. Shea just turned over. Daniel House, a pump fake three, penetrating, shoots a three. He hit another three, and he got fouled. Man, the Rockets are about to put up 40 in the first quarter. I promise you, facts. He did a pump. He did a crossover, step back, 3-point shot. Daniel House, since he came back, he's been unbelievable. I promise you. Sorry, getting a lot of pop-ups. So the Rockets are cooking right now. They're up by a lot. I'm still having a giveaway. You guess the margin, how much the Rockets win by. And, if you guess the right margin, you win automatically. The other night we had a winner. We had the whole Sambuca family. We only had one toy. I said they could chop that toy up and share it because they're working in the kitchen. Same thing with KD and Westbrook. I think they still mad at each other. Yeah, I agree. There's a lot of animosity between them. That whole organization and Westbrook. Hey, pal, how are you doing, Jackie? Welcome to the channel. How the fuck is Al Horford in the leading scorer for the Thunder? It's just because he could shoot. He's probably one of their best shooters. He could score in the paint. They don't have a lot of options. Like I said, they're tanking. DeMarcus Cousins a missed three, and the Rockets are already about to get 4, and they still got over a minute. Yeah, Al Horford is the best scorer for the Thunder. You look, they only have 18 points. Now, they can play great defense, like I said, but they can't score. Are they missing a player? They just suck. So Eric Gordon turned it over, trying to pass it to, that's something between Eric Gordon and DeMarcus Cousins. They're always turning it over between each other. And Eric Gordon is, you could look at this team and you say, all right, you got a most improved player in, Christian Wood. So the Thunder are shooting some free throws. You got a comeback player of the year in, John Wall. And then you have, what else you have? You have, what else? I guess that's it, right? A coach of the year, if he could get him in the playoffs. And if he could get him between that 5th and maybe above, you could truly see a coach of the year. Eric Gordon, 6-man. John Wall, most comeback player. And another 3. Oh, my God. Daniel House is cooking. I promise you. And a turnover. Oh, my God. Daniel House. He fell down So Daniel House has 2 threes or 3 threes. I got to double check that. And then he had just got a steal and he tried to drive the lane, but he knocked it out of bounds. Like I like the Rockets, but I don't have them making the playoffs because you got Spurs, Mavericks, Warriors, Grizzlies, Seawood, most improved player. They could miss the playoffs, just because the fact that, there are a lot of players that coming off the big injuries for the team. But, they can make the playoffs. Now, They are a great defense. They got a lot of hungry players, great coaching. So, and maybe they make a trade. But as of right now, I still see them as making the playoffs. Like I said, they could be the eighth seed. It doesn't matter. All they got to do is get in that play-in tournament. And when I was calling out the games, the Spurs, I think the Spurs, they're not a playoff team. I promise you. Him or Grant from the Pistons. I think it's Christian Wood over Grant, for real. Grant getting some, trash minutes, That's pretty much, he's on a horrible ass team. So he's going to get points on a bad team. That's why he even said, I'm going to the Pistons so I could, work on my offensive game. He said he didn't want to be on the Denver Nuggets no more. And, the Denver Nuggets really have, Michael Porter Jr. in the position that Grant was in because, Grant's Michael Porter Jr. is by default their defensive stopper, and he's not no defensive stopper at all. I got us as the 9th or 7th seed. Oh, okay. I mean, it's hard to predict. I don't know how good this team is. Oh, my God. Eric Gordon just got fouled, and he hit the three-point shot. So he's going to the free throw line to get 4. So the Rockets are about to put 50 pieces on the fucking – in the first quarter. I promise you. I'm not even BSing. It's about to be 50-24. Yeah, Pistons are bad. Blake Griffin, most watched player of the season. Yeah, that could be true. Their defense has surprised me the most, and the most changing the culture of the team. Yeah, look, the Pistons are bad. We have their first round draft pick, so it's very heavily protected. But I don't see the Rockets, actually getting a draft out of it. But it did help get Christian Wood, so. That's something, kind of they're rearranged with the Detroit Pistons. So the Thunder are getting the last shot of the game. So the Rockets might not get 50. Shea shooting it short. So they're getting the last shot of the game. Nobody wants to shoot it for the Rockets. Get the ball. DeMarcus Cousins a 3. I would not have been shocked if he would have hit it. Blake Griffin, man, I don't know if he's washed or not. Being on the Pistons, that's players get traded to the Pistons to, fade away in the dark. I promise you. So him going to the Pistons, that's not justice for him. If I see him with like the Clippers or the Lakers, like I would say, oh man, they got Blake Griffin. They're dangerous now. Like they're already dangerous, but adding Blake Griffin coming off the bench, I mean, who wouldn't want that if you're a playoff team? Now, if you say Blake Griffin coming off the bench for the Pistons, how does that sound? That sounds all right. That's obvious. That means you're washed. But if he's coming off the bench for a championship team, you're like, damn, that's crazy. Yeah, he did drop 20 last night. This was like 2 nights ago. I think when the Rockets beat the New Orleans Pelicans. And the Lakers are losing a few games in a row. But, I mean, like I said, the Lakers just need to get into the playoffs. Yeah, no, he can't get traded. He has a horrible contract. He's going to probably be on another bad team if they do trade him. And they could buy him out, though. That's the thing. They could buy him out. And, that's a possibility. He's been, great for their young players at times, not really forcing things. There's some players who are in the back end of their career are that they have that stigma about them that they're washed. So they're going to go out there and shoot it 20 times. They're going to go out there and try to like prove people wrong. But, I don't think Blake Griffin really cares. I think he has a very good understanding about the Pistons. And I think, they'll probably send him to a playoff team, which means they'll probably cut him and buy him out. Nets win it all, even if far. The Nets win it all. It ain't even far from the league. Fair for the league. Sorry. That's hard to say. In the East, I think it's not fair for the East because, it's 3 All-Stars that are starting for the All-Star team, like starters. So I still think the Lakers are the best team in the league, hands down. I mean, they're so well-rounded. Their bench is strong. Montrezl Harrell is playing great. And I forget that they have Marcus Gasol coming off the bench as well. So my pick is still the Lakers. Not saying I want to see the Lakers win the championship. I just don't think Brooklyn has enough of a roster to compete against a team like the Lakers. And Kuz is playing really good. He's playing really good. Just Shantae putting it up. So the Rockets finally put up 50. So really early. What about them Bucks? Still being not that good. Man, if the Bucks get Bradley Beal, then I think they will be my favorite because they're a better, well-rounded team. Who is my GOAT? Like all time? Man, I gotta go with Mike. Who's your all-time five? Guys, let me know your all-time five, and not necessarily by position, just your all-time GOAT. I mean, it could be your favorite player. It doesn't necessarily have to be a player who's won championships. It doesn't necessarily have to be a player who's, led the league in assists or led the league in points. It just could be your all-time five best players, in your opinion. You might have like Sam Cassell in that. You might have, Eric Gordon. Who is your all-time five? I want some point guards because I want to get the damn ball. Jason Kidd, I would have loved to play with Jason Kidd if I was in the NBA. Jason Kidd, Steve Nash, but I like big man. I like Hakeem Olajuwon, my all-time GOAT, but I got to go with MJ, Hakeem, John Stockton, Kobe, MJ, Kareem, Wilt. That's a good lineup, man. I mean, you can't go wrong with those guys. If I'm gonna go with my all-time starting five greatest players, like I said the other night, Jason Kidd, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Hakeem Olajuwon, and Shaquille O'Neal. And I have Hakeem Olajuwon at the small power forward. And I say that because he could shoot the jumper. He could, especially when he was young. And I'm pretty sure he could stretch the floor as a three-point shooter. He was more than capable. At the end of his career, his knees were shot. But, I mean, in his prime, he was unbelievable. So John Wall's bringing up the ball. It's 50-25. So this game is pretty much over already. I don't see the Thunder coming back. Surprised I don't have Angel in here. Angel eats up the comments for real. Always trying to win free shit. Always. Sterling Brown penetrating. And he turned it over a little too hard. This is my top favorite. Magic, Kobe, LeBron, Boogie, Shaq. That's a good lineup. Prime Boogie was great. I mean, Prime Boogie was, the best center in the league at the time. And we have him for nothing. So why not take the chance on, DeMarcus Cousins? I mean, for real. You're getting the best center 3 years ago, 4 years ago, and you got him for nothing just because he was injured. Man, I wish Shaq and Hakeem would have played one-on-one, but it got canceled back in the 90s. We beat Hakeem when he was really young, and then, Shaq never looked back. He beat the Rockets in the playoffs with Scottie Pippen, Charles Barkley, and Hakeem. Shaq really, dominated Hakeem Olajuwon. Not necessarily dominated, but that whole team, dominated the Rockets. The Rockets needed more talent. They needed to build around those three guys. Man, Thunder King, anything. Just Tate's a big guy. I mean, the other night he went at Zion and he made him look regular. I mean, just Tate is a great player. And he made, like I said, he made Zion look like a regular player. And, because, just Tate's not a little dude. He's going to do a lot of stuff in the paint. He's going to play a lot of defense. He's going to pass the ball really well. And like I said, he reminds me of Draymond Green. Draymond Green has that tenacity. He'll never back down to nobody, even if he's getting, beat up. Just trying to say, speaking of the devil, scores inside the paint, playing the lanes. I mean, couldn't ask for more. I mean, there's so many great players who know their role on this team. Yeah, I heard that, the Rockets won their championships because, MJ wasn't in the league. Rockets were like, they had a chance to draft Michael Jordan, and they had a chance to draft Michael, because they had the first round draft pick over Hakeem, but they went with Hakeem, and then they had, the opportunity. They had the opportunity to trade for Michael Jordan, and they didn't trade for him. So the Rockets be fucking up sometimes. It's just in the 80s and the 90s, things ran different, especially the 80s, things just ran different. People didn't really think like they think now. Rockets have Ralph Sampson, so, a lot of drugs were, injuries, and the drugs and if you had an injury, you pretty much were done. Even if you came back, medicine and the doctors weren't advanced as they are today. So if you had an ACL injury or an Achilles heel injury, you're pretty much washed. There's guys like Isaiah Thomas who had an Achilles injury. He was pretty much finished. Like cocaine, like Dave Chappelle said, cocaine's hell of a drug. And that was something that was really bad till David Stern got in the league and he cleaned that up. David Stern, really changed the face of the NBA, and it is what it is now. It's a fluid organization, and if players are doing cocaine, it's very rare nowadays because that's an old man drug. But Hakeem is still a top 5 center of all time. Yeah, Sam Bowie was drafted before Jordan and was injury prone. Man, that boy had a horrible injury, man. They said that Bowie could have played in today's league, and that's a possibility. But, man, I'm telling you, injuries back in the days, they will end you. He had a horrible injury. I forgot what he had. I think he had a broken leg on the court. I'm just saying, like, medicine ain't what like it is today. Doctors ain't what they are today, back in the days. And, once you had an injury, you're pretty much, back in those days, you probably had to get a regular job because, dudes ain't getting paid like they are today. You get injured, you have like life insurance from the NBA. And you're bound to come back to the NBA if you break your goddamn leg, tear an ACL or something. You can't the only reason why you have to retire early in the NBA is because, if you have like, maybe like, I can't even say, like a heart issues, or if you're, having spinal issues. I mean, that's pretty much it. That's how far medicine has came. So Sterling Brown penetrating, and it's 34-24. John Wall playing with the ball. Christian Wood, a 3, pump fake, penetrating to the lane, and he got it. Man, he makes it look so easy. He makes it look so easy because he'll dunk on your ass when he's driving. I truly thought this Thunder team was a little better, but they're not. And this is, Nwaba's not even playing. Boogie bringing up the ball, Boogie looking, Boogie. Wall. Sterling Brown a 3, misses it. Man, I really like John Wall's game. I like how patient he is. Watching Westbrook for the Rockets last year, I just was not entertained. And it's nothing against Westbrook. It's just how they use him. But I like a pure point guard who can bring up the ball, find an open teammate, even shoot the ball if, when he knows it's, the right time. Not because he's going to force it or he feels like he needs his own shots. I love John Wall's game. He's penetrating. He's looking. He passes it back out. He didn't force it. Jashawn Tate looking for Wall 3, and he got it. I'm telling you, watching with John Wall, it's like art. Don't sleep on the Thunder. They may come back. The Rockets just came back from a 30 on the Blazers. Nah, I know, I agree, but the Blazers are the Rockets and the Thunder, because the Thunder don't have a lot of talent. Everybody, it's clear as day. We know that they're tanking, and I hate that they're tanking because I like to see the Rockets competing against the Thunder. That's a team that I really enjoy. Competing against, see the Rockets competing against. But now they're tanking, like I said. So the Rockets should be winning this game, and they are. But like I said, I don't compare the Rockets situation, the other night versus the Blazers, compared to, the Thunder situation. Now, I know no lead is safe in the NBA. They're all professional players. Anybody could get hot from any given night. Oh my God, Christian Wood just stuffed the shit out of, I forget his name. He was in the bubble as well. My friend Anthony Sweet does not like him. I forgot his name though. So Christian Wood's having a hell of a game. And we see Ben McLemore is playing. And that's the fact that, the Wawa is not playing. So I was right that Ben McLemore is going to get more playing time. And Ben McLemore he's a playable player. Like, we're 10 players deep. I want to make that clear. Everybody could play on this team. Christian Wood penetrating, shooting it, and an air ball. And he comes up limping. Dort going up with the layup, and Dort misses it, but he gets fouled. Which they need to be tanking for those picks. Yeah, I know, you're right. They do. But like I said, the Rockets situation is a little different. If they're a tanking, it'll be stupid because the Rockets don't own some of their picks. They just need to stay competitive. And the Thunder are doing the right, they're doing the right thing. They had plenty of chances at a championship. Ever since they joined, they moved to OKC. They've been they've been in the mix for a championship for sure. KD, Westbrook, Paul George, Carmelo Anthony, Victor Oladipo. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Sabonis. I mean, you look at how much talent they had, and you look at them now, and you're like, what happened? I mean, you don't even get one championship out of that roster. Not they all play together, but just of that list of players that you see on there. Chris Paul, and yes, they all played in different times, and yes, they're all in different places in their career at that time. But you just look at that list, and you're like, God damn, you got some Hall of Famers on here. Even Steven Adams was a great player for them. I think if they would have won one if they didn't trade James Harden. Victor Oladipo, he got blocked on the pick and roll. His player went around and blocked him on the back. The Rockets got to build a team fast for C. Wood because he 25 in his primes, usually in at 31. Players are lasting to like 36 nowadays. So, but you're right. I mean, it's no need to, not build a championship team. I feel like they're missing a number one, a young player, and then Christian Wood will be that number two player. So I do feel like, once we establish, who we're going to build around, because we're already building around Christian Wood, but we need one more like franchise player, let me say, a Jason Tatum type player, and out the draft. We just need to draft right. You need to hit on your draft picks. So Victor Oladipo turns it over. So you're right. The Thunder are coming back. It's 42-61. And I know that doesn't sound too promising, but like I said, it's still the NBA. Teams they just hit a three, so it's 45-61. And the Rockets call a timeout. Like I said, no lead is safe in the NBA. And you brought it up. Do you think C. Wood a number one option? I think he's a number two option. I think he's the number two because I say that, you know, he's a great player. I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, but I think he's a number two on a playoff team. Now, he could be a number one option on a bad team, but I don't even think he's the number one. He might be the number one option now just because, what John Wall brings to the table. He's a pass first point guard, and he's really, utilizing it. And, it's hard to tell. I'm telling you, we will really have to look back at after this season and really have to look back and say, wow, like, okay, this is what happened. This is what happened. But as of right now, he is the number one option on this team. But, everybody is unselfish on this team. They're more than capable of anybody going off on this team, from John Wall to Victor Oladipo, Christian Wood, Boogie. I mean, Eric Gordon. Eric Gordon's almost averaging 20 points a game. I mean, come on, man. That's coming off the bench. If he's not your sixth man, then who is? I mean, really, who is? If y'all have another guy out there who's a six-man candidate, then let me know. I mean, Lou Will is not. Lou Will's not even playing that much. I only say Lou Will because year in and year out, he's, a candidate. He's always up in the votes. But as of right now, it's Eric Gordon. I mean, he's been consistent. I'm telling you. And I'm tired of hearing about Eric Gordon should be traded for peanuts on the dollar. And we should trade away a first-round draft pick to get rid of Eric Gordon's contract. Stop with that. Stop. Just stop. You're not going to get another guy coming off the bench. And yes, I know he gets paid good, but you don't have James Harden's contract on the team no more. So you don't need to be worrying about money, and you're not paying the man. We're not paying the man. So whoever's saying trade Eric Gordon because he's making too much money, yeah, who are you going to replace him with? Joe Harris, if he is this. Joe Harris, I thought he was a starter because he balling. Let me know if he's a starter or not. I seen him get tore up by Sexton the other night. I was watching that game against the Cavs, and he was forced to be the defensive stopper, and that's not his fault. They just traded away all their, players, all their role players, getting James Harden. So Joe Harris was forced to be the defensive stopper, and he got lit up by Sexton. It's hard to guard Sexton, so take that in. So it's a little more than 4 minutes, and John Wall is bringing up the ball. Victor Oladipo has the ball. Passes to PJ Tucker, back to John Wall. John Wall penetrating and scores. Man, he's so fast. Yeah, but like I said, you're going to have competition with the fact that, Joe Harris, Eric Gordon. But do you pick Joe Harris over Eric Gordon if he's coming off the bench? Because, like I said, you probably know a little more than me about that team. I'm really not keeping up with Brooklyn, even though they got James Harden. And let me know if y'all still want to see PJ Tucker traded, because I think he's been playing great. Yeah, he is. It's crazy how much defensive players that you have on the perimeter for the Rockets. It's just crazy because last year you only had PJ Tucker, Eric Gordon, Rocco, and that was pretty much Daniel House. But this year you have Daniel House, Eric Gordon, John Wall, Victor Oladipo, Jashante, Nwaba, Sterling Brown, and then you have, Christian Wood has become a better help defensive player. And you have PJ Tucker, who was your number one defensive player last year. I didn't even name him. So you got like 9 guys that can play defense. It's just freaking crazy. John Wall, 3, another 3. John Wall has like 5 threes already. And Shea looks like he hurt himself. So he's limping around. Yeah, y'all should trade PJ Tucker for a second round pick. At least 2 second round picks if they're going to trade him. Eric Gordon can bump with the big boy too. Yeah, Eric Gordon's a great player. I think, he's just had a lot of injuries the last few years. But like I said, he looks great this year. So I think the Rockets might put up like 70 plus before halftime, which is amazing. Victor Oladipo penetrating, and he got the ball stripped. Oh, so big turnover the ball. Big hasn't had a great game. I think it's just Big. That's Vic's game. He's not going to be like torching it up sometimes, but he will get hot. It's like one quarter he'll light it up, and then like the next quarter he'll stink it up. So it's just kind of like what you got to live with Big. But there are just so many great players. Like you don't need to really count on Big, and I don't necessarily think he's like a valiant scorer anyway. So Al Horford with the ball. Al Horford is still a good player. I just think he's so overpaid, and that's the thing. You know, that's what drops the value on some of these players, their contracts. Like I said, Eric Gordon's value dropped so hard because of, you know, with all the injuries and how his play was performing the last few years. And that's what got John Wall traded, pretty much his contract. Not the fact that, you know, he was coming off of back-to-back injuries. It's just the fact that, you know, some of these guys' contracts, you're not necessarily trading the players. Sometimes you're trading their contracts, you know, just to get off the books. Or you think Westbrook is a better player and he's going to perform better. How I feel about LaMelo, I think LaMelo is a great player. I think he knows how to get his teammates involved. I think he knows how to lead an offense. You know, from day one, that's just who he is. And he likes to score. He could shoot the three ball. You know, he has a weird jump shot, but I guess that's how like some of the young guys shoot nowadays. You know, unorthodox, but it can still go in as long as you put the work in. And, you know, the game is evolving to a new game. He kind of shoots like Michael Porter Jr. And let me know what y'all think about that, because that's who I compare LaMelo's jump shot to, Michael Porter Jr. I think you said earlier that Christian would be a number one option. I think he can, but you need a player like Devin Booker next to him. Not necessarily a number one option, but a high volume scorer. And, you know, I don't think people look at Devin Booker and say, oh, he's the number one option. So, you know, I think Christian Wood can be a number one option, but around a guy like a Devin Booker, and not necessarily saying Devin Booker, but that type of player, that number one option who's not really a number one option, just offensively a number one option. So the Rockets do put up 70. And the Rockets, they're not messing around. I know they're going to come out strong. So the Thunder hit a three, so they cut it. It's 54-71. You know, the Thunder are still playing hard. It's just the lack of talent they have against the Rockets. Facts. I didn't even think of that at first. Yeah, no, it's just something I noticed, man. It's, you know, LaMelo is a great player, and he has the complete game. You know, it's just, you know, his brother is and I'm talking about Alonzo Ball. You know, he's not as great as player. He's not as great as his little brother, but one thing he does do, he gets his teammates involved as well. But like I said, LaMelo is going to be a great player, maybe even an all-star one day, especially in the East, where there's not a lot of point guards. And he's popular with, you know, the young kids, you know, just because he played in, you know, Chino Hill and, you know, and he played overseas. I think he owns his own basketball league overseas as well. So LaMelo Ball, look for him to be an all-star one day. I think a player like Bill would be amazing for us. I agree. I can see the Rockets getting Bill, like teaming him back up, but I don't know at what cost. But I'm hearing the Lakers. Now I'm hearing the Clippers, the Lakers, the Mavericks. You know, I don't know what those teams have to give. You know, that the Rockets couldn't give, because the Rockets give up Victor Oladipo, a lot of draft picks, Brooklyn's draft picks, Portland's draft pick. They could give up a lot. I don't know what else. I mean, you can't trade Christian Wood. You just can't. But I don't know what else you give up. Jae'Sean Tate. I mean, do you really want to give up Jae'Sean Tate for Bradley Beal in a trade package? Now, I don't know about that. I mean, that's a type of player you want to build around Bradley Beal. So I think a facilitator, Seawood, would be great, because I think his best shooting pick and pop from top of the key. Yeah, I mean, Christian Wood is a great player. Pick and pop. I mean, he could do it all, man. I'm telling you, he gets to the free throw line, not some free throws down. He could block some shots. He could do it all. I'm telling you. But for us to get a player like Bradley Beal, we'll have to give up a lot. And, I just don't think it's worth it. Like, not saying that, because the Rockets are still going to be in the same situation, with the fact that, they're going to be maybe in the middle of the pack team, and gave up a lot to get him. And it's best that you just stay in the situation that you're in and, keep drafting players, collecting talent, and getting better and getting better. We'll build. Yeah, I think he said he wants out of Washington. And obviously he has shown by his, body movement, just like James Harden did when he was with the Rockets. And, that's when a player wants out. But last night they beat the Brooklyn Nets, and he looked happy. I mean, of course, winning heals all ill will. It changes your mind. All it takes is a few games. They get into the playoffs. The East, even though the East got better, all you got to do is just get in. I mean, anybody's beatable. You have Westbrook and Bradley Beal. And, they had a lot of injuries. Thomas Bryant went down. So they just need to get healthy, and they can make some noise. I can see it. They just weren't patient. I think Bradley Beal, took the Wall trade a little too hard, in my opinion. Yeah, I don't think he would trade for Beal. Now, I love it. I'll be honest, I would love Beal on this team. But it really wouldn't make sense. Like I said, you're not setting yourself up long term. Like, because Bradley Beal is a great player, but he needs to go to a championship team. Now, it will be the same situation with the Wizards when they were making the playoffs, because it will be the Houston Wizards. It'll be true, because we'll have John Wall, and then we'll have, Bradley Beal, and, like some good players, but, it wouldn't put us over the top. How many years do y'all think LeBron James has left? That's my question. How many years does LeBron have in dominating the NBA? Because, man, I'm tired of him dominating the NBA. I don't mind him still playing, but just playing at a lower level, like his, just playing, like not being so dominating. 5 years, damn, as a Rockets fan now and looking where the Rockets are now, I kind of say, like, it's not a big deal to me. Like, when we had James Harden, I was like, damn, like, I don't know if we could withstand, the fact that, he's still playing in the league. Now, if he wasn't in the West, the Rockets would have had a better chance making it to the finals. I mean, that's just common sense. I mean, not saying the Rockets are going to win a championship. It would have benefited the Rockets last year in Portland. I think the Clippers would have probably, if the Clippers didn't show, Denver would have made it to the NBA Finals if LeBron James was in the East. 4, you got 4. Well, dominating 3, okay. So dominating, I say 3. Yeah, I'm going to say 3 as well. I'm going to have to agree with you, Blake. And then you said 4. I'm going to say he has, because Mike played till like 40. I'm going to have to say he's going to play to like 41. I think he'll play with his son. Now, I don't necessarily know if they're going to play for the Lakers, but I can see him playing with his son. Not maybe playing with his son on the same team, but the fact that they will be in this league together. And do y'all think Denver is as good as they were last year? Do you think are they better? Losing Grant was big for them. They lost their defensive stopper. That was their anchor. Now you force Kevin Porter Jr. And yes, you did get a few players back, like Will Barton. Will Barton's a good player, but is he going to play defense for you? That's the question you have to ask yourself if you're Denver. Brady winning Super Bowl? Hell yeah! Who's our Super Bowl prediction? I don't know. I wouldn't be mad seeing Tom Brady winning the Super Bowl. I know they got that home court advantage. So, like I said, it'd be kind of cool to see an old man win a Super Bowl. I think they're about the same. Yeah, I agree with you. They're about the same, Denver. They're really going to have to play it safe in the playoffs and hope that they, play a team who's dealing with a lot of adversity like the Clippers were last year. So they're going to really have to rely on those factors. But other than that, I just don't see Denver being a championship team. I think they're going to have to make a move for like a Bradley Beal. And if that's going to cost Michael Porter Jr., Gary Harris, Will Barton, and a few draft picks, I would do it if I was Denver. That makes sense for me because now you could team up Bradley Beal and Murray and then Jokic, and now you have a big three. Now, what do y'all think about that? A big three in Denver. You never go against Tom Brady. No, you never bet against. Yeah, you never bet money against Tom Brady. That's true. I never bet against Floyd Mayweather. When I used to watch boxing, and I never bet against Floyd Mayweather. So I have a video afterwards with Anthony Sweet, so y'all stay tuned for that. The score, you want to know the score? It's halftime, bro. Nate. So let me show you the score. It's like 71 to. Let me give you it. So Nate, it's 73 to 54. So Rockets are up big. Clippers are better than the Lakers. I'm hearing that. I just, I'm really been focused. I've been working a lot, and when I make videos, I try to keep up with the Rockets and, other Houston sports, and it's not my fault. It's by default because I just don't have a lot of time to, cover the whole league. But yeah, I'm hearing a lot that the Clippers are better than the Lakers. But tell me, why do you think that? I mean, are they better defensively? I don't know, is Kawhi playing at an MVP level? Is Paul George, is he playoff P right now? Is he going to be playoff P when it comes down to the playoffs? Because, he was horrible in the playoffs. I mean, and Denver's defense is, at that time with Grant and Harris playing pretty good defense, but there was no reason why Paul George should have been that bad. Hitting the side of the rim multiple times, missing clear blank layups. He was just looking horrible. He was looking washed, but he came back this season looking good. Defense, and they look way better chemistry-wise. Okay. Maybe it was Montrezl Harrell was the reason. They said Montrezl Harrell was being a wild man in the locker room, that he was doing a lot of inappropriate things and, saying a lot of things. Wow, you really think so? That's crazy because that's crazy. You go from, the laughing stock of the NBA. I mean, it truly was. Everybody was clowning PG to the MVP conversation is really a jump, for real. I mean, the amount of work that goes into, preparation and the fact that you got to actually, because he said that he was dealing with a lot of, anxiety, mental health issues. And as fans, we don't take that into consideration with some of these players. It's hard to wrap yourself. You could get lost in the game. You know what I mean? You miss a few jump shots, your mind could just wander around. I go to work and I'm, sometimes so busy, you kind of forget things and forget what's really important sometimes, and why you're even there. Yeah, he came back with a chip on his shoulder. Yeah, man, I love to see that for real. There's no hate here. I love to see Paul George. I was a big Paul George fan. You know, should he stayed in with the Thunder? Nah, I mean, why would you want to stick with Russ? You know, you're not going to win a championship. He did the right move. He made the right move for real. What I like is what Jerry West said. Why would Kawhi want to join that shit show? So, if y'all don't know about Jerry West, he was trying to recruit Kawhi Leonard to go to the Clippers really early. So that's tampering. So you're going to get fined millions of dollars, draft picks, it's going to hit the Clippers. It just hasn't hit them yet. So they're probably under investigation. I'm pretty sure they're dealing with it in court. Jerry West, he did a no-no for the Clippers. But if it wins them a championship, then who gives a shit for real? Jerry West is a genius. You see what he did to the Lakers with Kobe and Shaq. You see what he did with the Warriors with Clay, Draymond, and KD. And you see he even got Memphis. He had Memphis at one point in time rolling. I mean, he drafted so well with Memphis. He drafted a lot of great players. He signed a lot of great free agencies. And Memphis was a great team for one point in time. PJ, he came back with the. Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you wrote again. I'm sorry. But I'm really looking forward for the Rockets. I think they can reel off, 7 in a row. And it's just crazy. Like now they're such a great team with the fact that James Harden left. I truly thought they were going to get worse. I'll be honest. I'm not even going to BS. Now, I knew we were getting Victor Oladipo. I knew we were getting, so-and-so. But I was just like, man, that's just too many pieces to add to this team, and this far in the season, with teams already, getting preseason over with, getting that camaraderie. And then you're adding all these pieces to the team. Sometimes it's unheard of to be a competitive team, adding all these new faces. Jerry West, yeah, he's the sign of the NBA, right here, baby. Jerry, I like him as the face of the logo of the NBA. Maybe you could go with Kobe. I mean, should it be Kobe now? I mean, do you think so? My opinion, yeah. I know Jerry West has a lot of love for Kobe. He drafted Kobe, so I don't see Jerry really having an issue with the fact that Kobe will become the logo of the NBA. Other than Kobe, there's nobody else, who is more deserving besides, Jordan. But Jordan is a great player, the GOAT, but I don't think he's deserving of the face of the logo of the NBA, because the face of the NBA means a lot of things. And Jordan was kind of an asshole. He was a gambler. I'm not trying to condemn the man, but it's just true, There's even theory that he got kicked out the NBA, when he retired because he was gambling so much. And that's just a theory. It's not proven. It was almost Dwight back in the day. Dwight, the logo? What do you mean? So we got the second half heating back up. What do you mean by Dwight back in the day? Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I'm trying to come up with my own jersey, make my own logo for real, my own slogan, and represent myself. That's what I'm telling y'all. If y'all gonna invest in something, invest in yourself. Like invest in something that you're good at. If you're great at something, stick with it, and then you might become great at something else, and then go with that. But invest your time in something that you're great at, then work to something else. Like invest, get money, and then grow out. You know what I mean? You know, I was a chef. You know, I'm telling you, I love sports, and I put a lot of time in my channel. But I just starting up. You know, I'm just starting up, and I'm trying to grow out. You know, I'm more invested in this than I am my job because I'm already great at my job. So I know when I go to my job, I'm gonna do it great, and I could do it with my eyes closed. So this is something that's more challenging. You know, trying to talk, trying to read, trying to do multiple things at once, and it's fun, it's exciting. So if you think you're more than willing to come on this show and we feed off each other, then you're more than welcome to come on here. I have gotten people from Bleacher Report, old friends that we just have conversations with, and I say, hey, let's come on this channel, and I could try to make you look great, but it's on you to capitalize on the conversation. So if you're ever willing to come on this channel and speak your mind about sports and actually back your opinion up, then you're more than welcome. And there's not a lot of people giving the other people opportunities to actually go on their channel because sometimes they feel like incompetent because they're like, oh, nah, I ain't going to give nobody else shine. But I don't think that's how it should be. Everybody deserves an opportunity who's willing to invest in you. Christian Wood, a layup. So they got 80 and one. He got two. So he's going to the free throw line. We put up 80 on them boys already. So 80 to 56. And Christian Wood is just great around the basket. He has such a great touch. He finishes strong for how fragile he is. I don't mean to assault the man, but he's very very skinny. He's just not your normal center. He has the body of a modern small forward / power forward, but he's playing the center position. So John Wall turns it over, and he looks kind of pissed. I have a main channel with 200 subs, but I'm going to make me a sports channel called. Okay, man. Hey, man, y'all subscribe to your channel once it's up, man. I'll make you. Hey, if you ever want to come on here, I support that. You know what I mean? Like I said, it's all about growing and finding people to grow with. Always surround yourself with people who are going to make you better. I'm recording with a camera, like my brother gave me a camera, but like I mainly just go on Facebook Live, and my camera's kind of messed up right now, so I'm just trying to do everything I can to utilize my tools. But like I said, I mainly do Facebook Live, and that's pretty much it. Oh, and there's this app I use. It's called Switcher, and it's kind of pricey, but I could go live with another person, and it allows me to send you a request. And if anybody else is interested and are listening, like I said, please, like I don't mind. I just got to work with you. I got to figure out, okay, what topics are we going to talk about? What game are we going to cover? So the Pistons game and the Denver Nuggets game has been postponed. Maybe somebody has been safety protocols. So somebody probably has a virus, one of the players, maybe one of the staff members. So you're going to see a lot of that. There was a big chance that the NBA season might get canceled. I heard there was a 90% chance at one point in time, but for some reason the games are still going. So I just hope the season continues. That's really what I hope. There's a second wave coming around. And it's going to get worse. They said it's more of a severe virus, 2 times stronger than COVID. So yeah, I just stay safe for real. So Victor Oladipo hasn't had a good game. He fouled Dort going up for a layup, and he's going to get some free throws. Oh, no, they take it out of bounds. So I thought I should have got some free throws. So it's 58-80. Horford a 3, got it. See, Horford's still a good player. Like I'm telling you, his contract is making him look like a bad player. I always felt like he had his eyebrows done. Like he has some weird looking eyebrows. I don't know that. I know that's out in left field, but it's just something about his eyebrows. John Wall playing with Dort. Who would y'all take, Dort or let me see, Jae'Sean Tate? Let me know. 2 great players, hands down. I think Jae'Sean is the better shooter. Dort might be the more physical player. I already have a podcast, but I kind of like ran away from it because I was on Spotify. Now, I can't really see like how many people are listening, so it's kind of deflating in the fact that you can't see, if your channel is striving or not. So I couldn't see mine. I don't know why, but like I said, I'd rather make a podcast on something else. But if I was going to make a podcast, it probably wouldn't be Spotify again. Because like I said, there are a lot of downfalls. YouTube, I can see my analytics and, who's listening, who's watching my videos in what place. Tate, you picked Tate? Yeah, I picked Tate as well. 2 players that weren't even drafted who are crucial for their team. Now, Dort's not as crucial no more just because, they're not a playoff team no more. But I'm pretty sure they value him really high still. Yeah, Tate's a better passer. You're 100% right. Yeah, YouTube's the best. Yeah, it is. Like, I enjoy Spotify. And, maybe if I pick my YouTube channel back up and I get 1,000 subscribers, I will make my Spotify again. And I will talk. I talk all about sports. I was writing down notes and pages, and I would try to stick to that topic. And it was very fun. I enjoyed that a little more because, you're not behind the camera and you have opportunities to mess up and you go back and, edit it and stuff like that. But once you're live, you can't be really messing up. So I gotta give a lot of credit to guys that go live. It's not as easy as it looks, especially when I work 9 hours today and I come on here, I take a 30-minute nap, I'm drinking coffee and I'm doing what I love. Like last night I was making a video and I fucked up 30 times. 30 times, I promise you. I messed up 30 times because I was tired and I threw my notepad across the room and I woke up in the morning. I woke up at 6 a.m. I was getting ready for work and I recorded the video and it only took me 2 times because you know what? I put in that time last night. I put in that preparation and I already kind of knew what I was talking about. So if you don't get it right the 30th time, you don't get it right the 40th time, you go at it again the next day and you might just get it right, Don't give up. I promise you, don't give up. Dort, yeah, in the bubble, he was so bad. I wouldn't even think that. It's crazy that he's such a great 3-point shooter. That's something that he probably just put a lot of work in the offseason. He probably figured out, hey, this was my biggest weakness in the bubble. And, I don't want to be a liability at the 3-point line. This is the modern NBA. Everybody can shoot. Yo, I guess Hill isn't playing. George Hill, I haven't seen him all game. So he must be injured or they're going to trade him. So what do y'all think about Anthony Edwards? I know you talked about LaMelo Ball, but what do you think about Anthony Edwards and how he performed so far this season with the Timberwolves? I think he was the number 1 draft pick. And, I think he's had some good games, but he hasn't played to the caliber as LaMelo Ball, in my opinion. LaMelo Ball is already, starting for the Hornets, almost averaging a triple-double. So you think Anthony Edwards has the possibility of a bust? Because, this is one of the weakest drafts in a long time. Oh, okay. So that's just the narrative on him. So you think Anthony Edwards is a great player? But I don't think he's better than LaMelo Ball. LaMelo Ball makes his teammates better. So that's what really separates the two. The fact that you make your teammates better. I love players that make their teammates better. So we're starting up again. That was a long timeout, I promise you. Horford backing down Oladipo, passes back out to Dort, who's guarded by Jae'Sean. Horford a turnaround jumper on Victor Oladipo. He had the matchup that he wanted, but he still missed it. PJ Tucker looks winded a little bit. PJ Tucker in the paint. PJ Tucker is a funny player. He's so fundamental. He's so well-rounded as a player, a great player. He has all the tools, but he doesn't have the ability to dunk. He doesn't have the ability to score in the paint. Not necessarily, that's not really true, but he's not 6'9" or 6'6". He's like 6'6". He's not like 6'9", 7 foot. And he has all the tools to be a great player, but he just doesn't have the height or the jump. Christian Wood, a putback jumper, tip in, and he got it. No, I agree with you. I think Anthony Edwards got drafted to the wrong team. I promise you that. They have no real leadership, and with Karl Anthony Towns dealing with a lot this year. He's dealing with his mother's, passing, and other family members, and he got COVID, and I heard he got hit by a car recently. So Anthony Edwards definitely got drafted by the wrong organization for himself. He should have got drafted. They should have just traded the draft, and because it wasn't a strong draft anyways. So they should have traded the draft and maybe got like 2 picks or something like that. That's just my opinion. I wouldn't want to get drafted by the Timberwolves. Ooh, Jae'Sean Tate he did a underneath basket layup. Great play. Man, I'm looking at Jae'Sean Tate and I'm like, oh, why did I ask that question? Because, Dort's not having a good game, but Jae'Sean Tate is having a wonderful game. He went underneath the basket and did a reverse layup. Beautiful. He got some game. I mean, he's a starter long term for the Rockets. The Rockets, Rafael Stone really hit a home run. I mean, like I said, Rafael Stone's like 10 for 10. He's batting 1,000% for real on this year. I mean, for real. Look, every GM is not going to hit 1,000%. They're gonna get striked out at one point in time. But I mean, Rafael Stone is having a great start. He had no leverage this year. He had no draft picks. He had, bad contracts. Now he has all these picks. He has great players to move around now. Daniel House a 3. PJ Tucker offensive rebound. Passed out to Victor Oladipo. Victor Oladipo a 3. He puts it in. Man, they already got 90. Rockets are cooking, man. Take a bigger Rondo. Man, one thing that made me mad against the Lakers is that Rondo was knocking down threes in the playoffs. And I was so furious because, everybody knows he's not known for being a three-point shooter. I mean, that's the label on him. And he was just killing us, with his passing, his shooting, his teardrops. I mean, Rondo was looking like Boston Rondo. And, that's one thing I think, LeBron saw in Rondo all those years back. And he still knew that he had the ability to do that. And, LeBron, I think he assembled that team and it worked out for him. He knew what he was doing. He knew what he was doing when he was bringing Rondo on board. And you got to give LeBron James some credit for being low-key the Lakers GM last year, keeping Kuzma. I know he was, thrown around a lot. His name has been thrown around a lot in the trade scenarios. Seems like everybody on a championship team wants to trade for young youth for more established players that have some years under their belt. I remember they traded Wiggins for Kevin Love like right away. And I always thought that was the wrong move. And yes, it did work out for the Cavs and obviously for the Cavs. And did it work out for the Timberwolves? No, I don't think so. But now he's with the Warriors and he's doing his thing there. But I feel like Wiggins is one of the more bigger disappointing names that got drafted right behind Parker as well. Jabari Parker was a big dud. He had he had an ACL tear like twice in two different knees. So who do I think is going to be the next Bron? Well, Luka Doncic. Luka. Who do you think? I got to go with Luka. If not Luka, I don't think it's Giannis because Giannis doesn't have a jump shot, and he's very stubborn on some of the things he does. I felt like if Kawhi would have stayed with the Raptors, he probably could have won one more ring. Not specifically last year, but in prior years, I think Kawhi Leonard made the wrong move going with the Clippers. But I do know he wanted to go to LA, so I respect that. He's from San Diego, or he did go to school there in San Diego. So, I know he did want to go back to, the West Coast. Luka as well. So, yeah. But, it could be a player in this draft coming up, Cunningham. There could be a next LeBron in the draft because this year's draft is going to be very deep. So be careful with that. So there might be somebody in this year's draft. There's so many young great players. I'm telling you, there's so many great players. Now, when you say who's the next LeBron James, who's the next player dominating for 20 years, that's what I look at it. Who's going to dominate for 20 years? And I could say Luka, Zion, maybe Zion. I mean, if he doesn't get injuries, DeMarcus Cousins is a beautiful three-point shot. I mean, if you're going to go body type, I would go Zion. I mean, he's bigger than LeBron, but, I would go Zion if he could lose some weight. But Luka, for the next 20 years, I can see him doing that. He's not really fast. He reminds me a little bit of James Harden. He reminds me of James Harden. He doesn't have great defense. Step back jumper. He could pass the ball. So that's who he reminds me of. He reminds me more of James Harden than LeBron James. Excuse me. Yeah, Zion, I want him to stay healthy, but damn, I don't want our, Southwest Conference is so deep. You got Ja, you got Zai, you got Luka, and then you have the Rockets with, when you say the Rockets, who do you think of? Do you automatically think of Christian Wood, or do you think of like John Wall and committee? And then you have the Spurs, and when I look at the Spurs, I'm just like, I think of like, I don't really know, Greg Popovich, KD. Well, KD is like in his 13th year though, so I think KD is like not the next LeBron. KD was more like the next T-Mac, and then he passed him up like beyond. He passed Tracy McGrady, but that's who I always compare KD to, Tracy McGrady, but he passed him up. So I compare KD to like Dirk Nowitzki a little bit. You think of John Wall, yeah, but it can change your mind with the fact that, Christian Wood keeps putting up these numbers. You can't be like, oh, yeah, they got Christian Wood. And that's something that, that's going to take a while for him to, establish. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah, he's good too. I know he's a second-year player, and he killed the Rockets this year. He had like 40 points, I think. Maybe I might be exaggerating, but he had about 40 points. It's weird seeing Greg Popovich, coaching young players, but they're a great coaching staff. They know how to develop players, but traditionally they always liked old dudes, and they do have a few old dudes. L.A. here, Gay. Who else? There's one more I'm missing. Oh, DeMar DeRozan, and they still have Patty Mills as well. Patty Mills has been with that organization for a long time. Oh, your favorite player is Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis is a fun player to watch. I promise you. I liked him a lot with the Pelicans, and then he got with LA. And not saying I didn't like him with LA, but I knew automatically what they were getting. They were getting the two of the best players in the NBA at that time, and still are the most dominating players in their positions. AD playing multiple positions with, the fact that he could bring the ball up itself. He could play point guard, kind of, and LeBron can too as well. So they both could play power forward. They could play all five positions if they wanted to. That's who you're getting with, when you got AD and LeBron. That's what separates Brooklyn from LA. Like I said, they could play defense, they could play multiple positions, and I'm only talking about their two stars. It's about, can Brooklyn make a trade? Can Brooklyn, like I said, I heard them, they're destined to get Kevin Love and Drummond and 2 buyouts from the Cavs. So, I know they're on good terms with the Cavs as well. They did business with them as well as the Rockets. So Brooklyn gets Drummond, and if they get Kevin Love, I'm going to have to go with Brooklyn because, that's easy. You got 3 of the best players, and then you got 2 guys who have, what Drummond brings to the table is unbelievable. Rebounding, block shot. He's such a great player. And then with Kevin Love, he has that pedigree, and he could spread the floor easily. So the Rockets are already putting up, it's the end of the third quarter, but it's already 102-76. So the Rockets are running away with this. They ran away with it when the game started, and I didn't expect that at all. Like I said, everybody was saying that, Thunder are a good team, the Thunder are a good team. They beat so-and-so, be careful what you ask for. And, okay, bring them on. And we got them again. Yeah, it will be a wrap for the league. I had to say that because, once you got 5 players that, could do all different kind of things, and all they're missing is a little bit of defense or a lot of defense because they're the worst defense in the NBA. But, once they get Kevin Love and Drummond, if that's, the case, then, yeah, it's over. And they sign Iman Shumpert as well. So he has a lot of playoff experience. I don't think he won a championship with the Cavs, so maybe they get Kevin Love. Iman Shumpert brings a lot of, he brings a lot of leadership. He brings that playoff pedigree, that championship. Kevin Durant is already a champion, and Kyrie Irving is as well. I hear a lot of people saying they should trade Kyrie Irving. I don't necessarily agree with that. Let's just see what they do in the buyout. They already have Joe Harris, and Jordan's not the same player at all. Jordan has he's not the same player from the Clippers, and when they let Jared Allen go, that was one player they should have kept. But they really wanted James Harden, so there was nothing going to change their mind. And he was on a 1-year contract, so it makes sense. And Clippers really wanted him. I mean, the Cavs really wanted him. Like I said, I'm looking for more co-hosts, and not necessarily because I don't like my two now, but I love them. But they're so busy with school, and it's just something that I respect that they're doing, and I'm not going to get mad at them for trying to better themselves. I knew what I was getting myself into when they asked to be on the show. So the Rockets still putting a hurting on them. You're about to see the third streamers come out. It's crazy when I see Cousins play defense and he puts his hand up and he plays aggressive perimeter defense, but he puts his hands up and he still gets blocked. I mean, he still gets scored on. I mean, they're not scared of him. I'm not sure why. Maybe they're not. I don't know what it is. He always gets scored on when he, is trying to defend the shot. But when I see Christian Wood do it, it usually plays out for him, and the fact that he forces them to miss the shot. Horford on Sterling Brown in the paint, and you got a foul because Daniel House fouled him. Pretty much jumped on his back, but I think Daniel House did a favor for Sterling Brown. And you see a lot of camaraderie for this team. Like they have each other's back. That's one thing you really like to see. Like I said, James Harden pretty much said these guys suck. I mean, I'm just summing up what he said pretty much. This guy for the Thunder has a mullet. He has like a fro mullet. It looks very weird. I've never seen, and he has two like ponytails. That's crazy. I've never seen that before in my life. He has like a mullet fro, and then he has two little like ponytails. I've never seen that in my life. Eric Gordon, a 3-point shot. That was a great shot. Now Eric Gordon hasn't been that great in this game, but he hasn't had to be that player that he usually is, because they've been scoring like as a team, as a unit. That you haven't necessarily needed one guy to put up 30 points, but even though they probably are, I mean, everybody's a threat on the floor. They're just feasting on the Thunder. I mean, that's just what it is. The Thunder are no competition for the Rockets. It's pretty much over. Like I said, I don't mind losing a few people in the stream because, it's not really a close game, but I really enjoyed doing the New Orleans game the other night. Really kept me engaged. Watching Zion was a pleasure. Like I said, I can't really wait to play the next, big name guy yet. Let me see. Because we already played Zion, and I know we play New Orleans again down the road, but I'm going to try to go to the Rockets versus Brooklyn game. So we got John Thursday, I work, John Morant. We got LaMelo Ball Monday, so I'll love to see that one. Then we got Zion Tuesday again. Then we got Thursday, we have next Thursday, we have Miami. So that's going to be fun. Yeah, like I said, I'm gonna go to the Brooklyn game, and I'm going to go live. I'm going to really enjoy that. Hopefully James Harden is playing and he's in hiding like he did the other night. I wonder if he's going to get a standing ovation. Should I stand up and clap for him? I will, even though it didn't end the way, you know, I've never seen a relationship end like that with a star player. And now you're watching Bradley Beal do it, but like I said, you never seen a relationship end like that with what he did and calling out his teammates and saying that they're not good enough. So you rarely see that in any league. Um, so I'll still stand up and cheer for him. Like I think the team is better without him. So, and it was time. I believe it was time to trade him 2 years ago. I think they should have traded him instead of Chris Paul, and should have got more. You probably would have got more picks and a young player. Like, I don't know necessarily say who, but at that time, I feel like his value is more higher than it was now, because the fact that all the drama came out and him talking shit about his teammates. But I think Rafael Stone just, he still did a great job, being patient and getting the bag. Like I said, 8 first-round draft picks, Victor Oladipo, and then I'm gonna add Kevin Porter Jr. to that, because, like I said, they opened the door for the Cavs and they still did business with them. Like I said, Rafael Stone is doing great, and if Kevin Porter Jr. becomes a great player for the Rockets, a starter, or even a great rotation player, then all right, you hit a home run again. I mean, you got something out of nothing, and he's on a rookie contract. He's really not hurting you financially. So I mean, you really want to, and you got the right staff for the guy. You got John Lucas, Silas. Like, they can really work with the kid and get him on the right track. And I definitely think he's going to be a great player. Now, an all-star, that's asking a lot, but for what he did last year in his rookie year, those are signs that you can be a great player. They're numbers that are unheard of for a rookie, and he looked like the best player for the Cavs, but Cavs were trash last year. They're more competitive this year, and I don't know how much that means. I know that's not because of Kevin Porter Jr., but they are a better team though. Oh yeah, I'm getting close to 140. When I get 150, I'm gonna give out a pair of shoes. So let your friends know that once I get 150, I'm gonna give out a pair of shoes. So if you give me 10 subscribers, I'll give you a prize. I don't necessarily know what that'll be. Maybe a jersey, a toy, and then I'll give out the shoes, and then I'll have my contest for my 200 subscriber. So I'll give out a pair of tickets to. Now, if I get a 200 subscriber, now that doesn't necessarily mean I'm gonna give it to my 200 subscriber. That means everybody has the ability, who's been subscribed, has the ability to win tickets, and it's only fair, and only a subscriber can win it, not an outsider who just comes on here and joins the contest. That person won't win it. Maybe if they subscribe, I wouldn't know, because I only get notifications. But I guess they subscribe, so it doesn't matter. So they win it. But like I said, once I reach my 200 subscriber, I'm gonna give out a pair of tickets. Now, if you're not from Houston, or you're not from San Antonio, or whatever, or a city who's not having games, like an audience, I'll figure out something, and I'll try to get you something. And if you are in Houston, I'll get you tickets to the Rockets game, and maybe I'll join you. Like I said, what other channel, giving out free tickets, free, jerseys, free shoes, free prizes? Like I said, I'm the only channel I know. Maybe there's other channels that are bigger than mine, but none that are starting out like me. And I'm not getting paid for this, but I just enjoy it. It's not necessarily about getting paid. It's about having fun and, keeping your subscribers on their feet, intrigued into what's next. I like Ben McLemore. I think if he's not going to be on this team, he needs to go to a playoff team. And I think the Rockets need to do him a favor and send him to a team like Milwaukee, LA, a team that he's going to thrive on, and not necessarily, try to create his own shot. Because he's a stand and shoot player. That's just who he is. And there are just some players like that. That's just who he is. And I'm really excited. Getting more subscribers every day. I really been grinding, and there's times I ask people, "Hey, please subscribe," but I'm not gonna bang the hammer down and please, please. Like it's your call, it's your choice. I really want to reach 1,000 after the summer or before the summer. That's my main goal. So this game is 7 minutes, a little more than 7 minutes, and it's pretty much gone. I mean, this game is done with. It was a great game. Like I said, I should be making a video afterwards if Anthony Sweet has time, and we're gonna dissect. There's really not a lot to dissect. The Rockets came out and punched them in the mouth, so maybe we'll talk about an individual player, maybe. Fire. I like seeing DeMarcus Cousins out there for real. Like I was so excited when the Rockets got him. I mean, I really didn't know what the Rockets were getting, but on a non-guaranteed contract, I'm excited. How many people would love to see, Gerald Green back on this team? Now, I don't really necessarily see a role for him, but I love his leadership. I love his passion, and I like what he brings to the table overall. And, it never hurts to have more three-point shooters, and the fact that he could create his own shot, especially off the pick and roll. Oh, yeah, bet. I mean, like I said, maybe we could join forces one day. I said it's a lot of work. Um, I wish you the best of luck for real. Ben McLemore at 3, he missed it. Like I said, Ben McLemore is a great player, and he's a high percentage three-point shooter. So I'm never going to get mad when Ben shoots a 3, even if it's a miss. I could live with the fact that he's going to shoot a 3, especially when it's a blowout. But no matter what, I could live with Ben shooting a 3. He, in my opinion, is the third to maybe the best shooter on the team. And you see Mason Jones just hit a 3. And I love Mason Jones. I just love this whole team. I love the whole makeup of this team. I love the coaching staff. I love, some of the players that are on this team. And, I'm just so happy for this team because I'm telling you, the last 2 years, I've been so disappointed the route that the Rockets were going. They're really unwatchable last year. I kind of felt like they weren't even a playoff. Like, even if they're going to get into the playoffs, I just didn't feel like they're a real threat. They weren't enjoyable. Like, it was hard to watch them. I always felt like they were arguing on the floor. Like I said, I really want to enjoy what I'm watching, even if they're losing. I just want to see guys grinding, playing like a team. That starts with your leadership, though. That starts with your point guard. That starts with your coach. That starts with John Wall. And that starts from, going down. And I think we got, like I said, the Warriors may be a playoff team, but like I said, they didn't get the better player. John Wall is the better player, the better leader, the better man. Not the better man. I'm not going to say that, but he's better for this team. I'm not going to disrespect Westbrook and call him a bad man. Oh my God, Cousins hits another 3. So Cousins is on fire. He's having a really good game. He really is. I really enjoy his three-point shooting if he's knocking them down. One thing he needs to work on is, not trying to get in foul trouble. Even though he's the backup, I feel like he's still very crucial to the Rockets and what they're doing. So, there's not a lot of big men on this team. So I feel like, whenever he's out there, he needs to utilize his time, try to get in game shape, try not to get technicals, and try not to get, flagrants and get kicked out the game. Utilize your time. he was doing a lot with that. He was doing that a lot with the Rock when James Harden was on the team. And I understand you don't really want to be out there with James Harden. Uh, I know he didn't like James Harden. I mean, not personally, but the way that James Harden was acting, anybody could turn on you, even your best friend. You're just trying to go out there and do your job, and somebody's saying that, nah, these guys suck. You're gonna be like, hey man, like, come on, chill the fuck out. So Mason Jones bringing up the ball, looking for Ben. See, Ben's still a great player. He's just missing a lot, but he needs more game rep. So DeMarcus Cousins is another foul, and he needs to be patient because I don't necessarily know who shot it because I'm not familiar with all the Thunder players, but the guy was shooting a hard layup, and Cousins still fouled him. And sometimes Cousins he needs to check out. He needs to allow that player to shoot a difficult shot and not be over aggressive. Sometimes you need to learn, hey, I'm gonna get scored on. I don't need a foul. And even though this game is over, this is just gonna go to like the fact that he needs to work on things. Got to join and stuff. Hey, I appreciate it, man. Thank you for bringing him on here. Like I said, I really appreciate you and him. Like I said, I enjoy, people putting in, their thoughts and their opinions, and, I really enjoy that as a show. And like I said, if you're creating your own channel, like I said, I will be there to support it. And one day we could work together. And like I said, I'm open to options. And like I said, Anthony Sweet and as well as Liam, they should have their own channel going on as well. Now, I don't necessarily know if they want to talk about, Rockets basketball. I know they want to talk about a variety of sports, but me, my main focus is Rockets. But like I said, I'm so diverse as well. Like I made a video about LeBron James just because I wanted to watch LeBron James and how he looked in his, almost his 1920th season. So I'll do things like that. I'll talk about specific players or why are they in the MVP candidate race. Like you talked about, PG, he's considered an MVP candidate. Like maybe I'll go look at that and I'll be like, wow, that's a video I can talk about, stuff like that, I'll break down but I really want to do my homework because like I said, I really haven't kept up with him, like in the fact that I could say that he's an MVP candidate. I watch his highlights. Now I watch a lot of highlights and I watch a lot of game tape, but it's early in the season. It's so early in the season. I really don't like to talk about MVP candidates this early in the season. Mason Jones is such a great player. For a player that hadn't got drafted. Oh, okay. I'll subscribe to your channel as well. For real. If you're making music, I'll check it out. And, definitely I'll support that as well. Oh, okay. So G League is about to start up. Like you said, it starts up in Orlando. So we get to watch Kevin Porter Jr. do his thing against some some undrafted rookies and some rookies, I guess. And he's gonna ball out. One thing I noticed about Mason Jones, he has a hard time bringing up the ball, and if he gets trapped, he's gonna turn over the ball, and that's just because he's a rookie. That's why I was kind of shocked that he didn't get sent out to the G League. But since the Rockets don't have a lot of point guards on this team, he's probably our backup point guard. So you kind of need him. Well, you do need him. Like I said, you need him because, like I said, John Wall can't be playing a lot of games just because his minute restrictions and the fact that, he's coming off of an injury season, 2 years in a row. So you need Mason Jones on this team. Or you go out and get another point guard. But, I mean, Mason Jones is more than capable of being the backup on this team. So it's pretty much over. There's a little more than 2 minutes. Like I said, I really enjoyed this game. They beat them by 31 points pretty much. So I think I'll end it here. Like I do, I appreciate all of y'all joining on the channel. And if y'all have channels, I'll subscribe. And if you're coming up with the channel, I'll definitely subscribe as well. I'm going to end it here. Kobe Tree out. I might make a video afterwards with Anthony Sweet. And look into that. Like I said, I appreciate the subscribers. And make sure y'all are invested in the fact that y'all get more subscribers, and let me know, and I'll get y'all a little prize. And once I reach my 150 subscriber, I'm gonna give out a pair of shoes. So y'all be definitely ready for that. I won't announce it. I'll just go give out the shoes. All right. Appreciate it. What's up, man? Like I said, once I reach my 150 subscriber, I'll go live and I'll give out those pair of shoes to a lucky winner. For real. Yeah, I got you, man. I know you asked about that earlier, and I'll make one about Boogie. I think I'll just cover like how he's performed so far this season, and I'll cover, the downfall and the high and the low this season, and we'll just go from there. And I'll make that especially for you tomorrow since I'm off, and around noonish. So I got you, man. For real. That's especially for you. All right, man. I appreciate it. I'm out, and look for I'll probably make like 3 videos tomorrow. I promise you. So probably make one tonight, and then I'll make that Boogie for you, bro. Promise. All right, I'm out.